Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, 9:19 a.m., August 29th, 2025. And we are just about, I guess, 14 hours from the Packers picking up Micah Parsons. And I know I came on here yesterday to talk about it. Um, Sorry, everybody. I got some toothpaste. I'm sorry. So all I was saying, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm really excited. The Packers had to do what they did because we needed a big splash. We haven't had one in a while. It's not the Packer way, but we heard a little bit in the up to that situation of picking Parsons was the fact that possibly this year, uh, and our general manager, who I believe is great, and our coach, who I love, but that they may be on the hot seat. You may not be able to find that. It may not be totally true, but that's what I kind of heard between the lines. We have a new CEO at Policy. Murphy is gone now. LaFleur is in his seventh year, and he did get us to three championship games. I'm sorry, two championship games, but we haven't been back, and we haven't got it done. So as much as they do coach in Green Bay, there is a lot of expectations. So yes, going back to missing, we're going to miss Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark was a consummate pro, a true Packer, great dude. But you're going to have to give up something to get something, So I read the contract now. Parsons would get 136 million guaranteed, like 188 million, 4 years. Tremendous contract. But the expectations, of course, they go real high now. Like we're Super Bowl bound. We're going all the way, And I would usually say that, but there was no guarantees. So like I was trying to say yesterday was I'm not trying to knock Julius Peppers. I thought Julius Peppers was a great player. He wasn't at the total end of his career, but he was close to the end. Sorry, Fly. He had played a couple more years after he left Green Bay. He came in 2014. I was real excited again because we had Matthews on the other side. He got us to a championship game, but we lost that game, unfortunately. 15, we got to the second round, lost that game. And in 2016 championship game, we were banged up that year on offense and defense also. We lost that game. So we never got to the Super Bowl after picking up Julius Peppers. Joe Johnson, we picked him up in 2002. At that time, don't laugh at the contract. It was like a 4-year, $36 million deal. And his first year, he got hurt. He tore his tricep. I think he played 5 games. In his second year, he tore his quadricep, and he only played 6 games. So he played 11 games, and we gave him a boatload of money also. He had been a pro for 8 years with the Saints. He could play the run and pass rush equally, and he only played 11 games for us, so he was definitely a bust. Now, he did get injured. It happens, but that could happen to anybody or any player. Sorry about that, guys. So, so we got to see what happens. The positives, Reggie White was a generational cultural icon. I mean, Reggie White was the best defensive player in the league at one point. Definitely defensive lineman. You can may pick Lawrence Taylor. Obviously, he was an outside linebacker. Reggie White was awesome, but he was just a spiritual leader, a cultural leader. He changed our environment, or the climate of the culture of the team, everything. He was just so obviously it worked out with Reggie. But even with Reggie, it took Reggie came in '93. We didn't win the Super Bowl until '96. We got some pieces around him. Green Bay was definitely not a sought out place to go play, at that time. But Reggie made it popular. Reggie, I would argue that is the reason why Micah Parsons signed with us yesterday. We've been relevant for 30 years because of Reggie White. And we throw in the other free agents that came because of him. We can go on and on. But at that time, the guys were Eugene Robinson, Keith Jackson, Sean Jones. Those guys would have never come to Green Bay if it wasn't for Reggie White, in my opinion. Those were pivotal guys that got us to a Super Bowl, just to name those couple. So yeah, we will see what happens. Excited, Packer fans are definitely excited. Of course, our thing's got to be we're going all the way. We're going all the way, and I would say that as a young guy, But right now, but I also now look at it from a realistic point of view. He could be injured. I don't know enough about him. I looked at his stats. I saw that all his 12, 13, 14, 13 and a half. I haven't studied him so much. I watch the Packers now. I will go into his highlights. He looks powerful. I just know when they played the Packers a couple times, I don't remember too many plays that he had against us. Anyhow, just want to get on here and say that today, but I'm very positive. I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly or negative Ned or Joey Downer, but just like I said, I'm just trying to keep it even keeled. Go Pack Go. Weight today, 176.2 pounds, so I'm heading in the right direction. Has not been easy. I have not eaten more than 1,700, I will say. I will say between 14 and 1,700 is where I'm staying right now. Back down to 76.2. I haven't been 76.2 in like a couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that. I'll be watching it as I'm jogging in place. A lot of Micah Parsons stuff today. And again, I'm going to miss Kenny. We are giving up 2 first-round picks. We threw a boatload of money at Micah Parsons. I'm hoping it works for the Pack. And but you got to give a shout out to the Packers for pulling this off. Again, the only thing I will say now, they would make big splashes, but not this big. And Charles Woodson also. I just don't want to forget Charles Woodson. When we got Charles Woodson too, Charles Woodson got it done. But Charles Woodson, nobody wanted Charles Woodson at that time. And I was saying at the time, if we can get Charles Woodson, we can go all the way. We can go all the way. But it's still with him. It took 4 years. 2006, he didn't want to be there. We were 8-8. 2007, we went to a championship game, and he had turned the corner a little bit of enjoying Green Bay. He was maturing, and we lost to the Giants in the championship game. 2008, changed at quarterback. We went 6-10. 2009, we made it to the playoffs, got beat by the Cardinals. In 2010, we won it all. And unfortunately, Woodson broke his collarbone in the Super Bowl, but he got it done. All right, everybody, have a great Friday. Go Pack Go. Talk to you later or tomorrow. Great day.